from the script for remotely conducted meetings. As a preliminary matter, this is Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So board members, when I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Val Oliver.
Here.
Thank you. Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you, Diane. Carrie Thornwell.
Aye.
And has Abby shown up yet?
No.
All right, she's trying, so we'll see. Okay, and staff, when I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Kathy Flynn. Thank you. Holly Backus.
Present.
Very good. Thank you, Holly. Okay, anticipated speakers will be noted as they appear. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings, in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Nantucket Historic District Commission is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. There you go. And now we're turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember also to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourselves. And finally, each vote taken this afternoon will be conducted via roll call. That's that. We have the agenda now posted on the screens in front of us. If I could please have a motion to approve today's agenda.
A motion to approve.
Thank you, Diane. On that motion, Carrie Thornwell.
Aye.
Thank you. Val Oliver.
Aye.
Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm in favor of that motion. So motion carries.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Abby can't get on.
Yeah, I think she said, I'm going to try my phone.
Okay.
So we'll stay in a holding pattern on that one. Thank you, Val. Okay, so I think the first order of business is, I don't actually have the agenda in front of me, but it's usually public comment. So I would actually like to make one comment as chair, and that is, I want to conclude this meeting and any Thursday meeting henceforth at 2:30, regardless of what the TV station has open for us, simply for out of respect for board members who spend a lot of time on Tuesday nights. And I don't want them to spend so much additional time on a Thursday midday. So 2:30, I think, is a fair cutoff. So let's see what we can accomplish until 2:30 today. And I'm sorry that this meeting is getting started a little bit late, but here we are. So what is the, oh, and I should ask, is there any other public comment before I move on to the new business items?
No.
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so moving right along, and I'm using the agenda left over from Tuesday night. So what is our, let's zoom in a little bit.
First one is 98 Old South Road.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's Jeff Smith, and it looks like JB is going to be representing. Do we have somebody on board to represent for this? Anyone?
What's that?
Your
Do we have
eye
someone
was
Do we have someone representing the project?
your eye was on a minute ago under the name Nina.
Okay. let me
Oh,
see.
okay. So Tori, you
Yep.
want to just walk us through all of this?
Well, it's your eye. It is
Sorry?
JB. But he was on a minute ago under Nina, the name Nina.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's okay.
misunderstood. So you're not representing this?
No, I'm the next one, but I was just letting you know. I don't see your eye
Oh,
right now,
oh.
but he was just on. Sorry.
Okay. Wow. So now the chair is torn whether to move along, hold this one for representation, or to or to wait until he comes back on. My vote is to move on to Tori because she's here. So I think we're going to need a motion to hold 98 Old South Road for representation.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. On that motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
Chair in favor. Okay, thanks. We're moving along now to 1 White Whale Lane. Okay,
Present.
very good. Thanks, Tori. So Holly, if you start scrolling down, Tori, why don't you give us an overview of what you're looking to do?
Sure thing. The biggest thing is a window change of style. He
Okay.
wants to do 2/1 and white trim instead now.
Okay, so this is a project that was approved but not yet built, correct?
Yes, correct. It's a prefab.
Okay, and what were the windows before?
I believe they were 6/1. I'd have to look that up.
You want 2/1.
He wants 2/1 now.
And this red stuff that I see here basically spells it out. So the window style is changing and the trim color is, refresh my memory, you just said it.
It was white is what he would like, is what we're asking
It
for.
was approved as gray, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, I think cobblestone gray, yeah, something like that.
Ender.
Diane, did you have something to say?
No, I'm sorry. The dog barked and I
Oh,
yelled without thinking.
okay. I thought you were, well, so here it is. It's pretty straightforward, Diane. Switch from 6/1 to 2/1 and color change from gray to white. What's your opinion of that, Diane? Are you muted, my dear? Let me check. Diane?
Yep, she is.
Is it unmuted now?
Oh, I can
Okay.
hear you now.
I
Yes,
do.
go ahead.
I think the 2/1s are okay. I would like to know, I believe in this particular house that we picked the gray because it fit in better and didn't call for white. So I would like to know what the surrounding houses have, how many white ones there are and how many soft ones. Soft gray.
Lori, are you able to speak to that?
I am a little bit. In this particular circular subdivision cul-de-sac, the other two homes are white across from this. The other two duplexes, I should say, are white trim. This is right next to the back of, what's that program meeting house on the corner of Cato and Bartlett Road, that organization?
Oddfellows.
Oddfellows.
Yeah.
I don't think the Oddfellows is white. That could be a gray. I'm not, or a dark green. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, so Diane, anything further to say?
No, that was it. Otherwise, the switch from 2 to 1s is 2 over 1s is okay with me.
Okay. All right, thank you. How about you, Val?
I'm fine with the change. I just want to request and mention things as they come up. We need a site plan next time.
Oh, it should have been there from the surveyor.
There was just a locus map, and it's just to mention it because we keep getting things that aren't quite filled. So it's just that. That's all.
Okay, I apologize. There should have been a surveyed plan that was scanned. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
So, yeah, we need locus. Well, I guess a locus would not be a surveyed plan. Anyway, so Val's okay with it. Thank you for those comments, Val. And how about you, Carrie? There's the locus. Yeah. Carrie, are you on board? You're probably muted.
Yep, I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah, it's,
Okay. All right, I think we could move this to a motion. I'm okay with it.
Motion to approve is submitted.
Okay, Val, thanks. On that motion, Carrie,
aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And so apparently your eye is on. So maybe we just go back to that.
Yeah, I am on. Sorry, I got disconnected for some reason.
Okay, well, you're back. So let's go. We're going to get your stuff up and you'll tell us what's going on at 98 Old South Road.
Yeah, so looks like I got the driveway on consent, right? So we're discussing only the building now. So we just pretty much changing on the right side part of the cottage, changing the deck, reducing the size, just putting it from the back side, not the front. And then the connecting, you can see between the cottage, or yeah, it's called the cottage, and the main house, there is a little deck next to a roof connecting, like a little breezeway roof, or that we are changing that, adding actually a little more deck. Still from the road side, there will be roof visible, just a little bit lower than it was before, and the deck is behind the roof. And then we're adding the window well in the cottage.
Okay. So you have this
Oh,
deck
those are-
that connects, you have a deck that connects, I guess, the cottage and the house, right?
Yeah, there is a deck, existing deck. We're just making it bigger,
Oh,
so wider. No, not. So it's pretty much going a little bit into the roof, into the existing roof that's connecting those two buildings. So the roof will create pretty much part of the. It'll be a little railing with the roof on the.
I understand.
On
So can we go back
on one side.
a few things? Can we go back to the site plan for a moment, Holly?
Yeah, I thought this was a site plan review.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to ask about. Okay, so your eye, if we scroll down a little, there you go. Perfect. Okay, so in looking at this, with all this parking area bubbled, is that part of this application? I don't understand. Well, let me just say.
No, we have
it's
two
one or the
applications.
other. What?
Yeah, it should be. When I'm looking at it, I think the parking or the driveways and parking went on consent, and only the building was supposed to be in the meeting.
Kathy?
So there were two
Kathy,
applications. One was for the driveway, one was for the building.
Yeah, let me see if it might have been loaded. The wrong one was added in error. Let me find it here and send it to Holly real quick, okay?
But I think in the interest of moving this forward, no matter what, whether it was approved, not approved, if it's approved, great, fine, done. but it's not part of this application, which has to do with architectural features on the building.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so no matter if it hasn't been approved, if it hasn't been applied for, if it has been approved, that's immaterial. I want to make sure that the record shows that anything relating to the parking and the drive is stricken from this application, okay? And we are only reviewing and potentially approving the things that are architectural features on the house. That's it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So is everybody clear on what URI is hoping to do with the house? We do have these sort of existing conditions, elevations, and then elevations that show where he's adding the deck and the light well and that sort of thing. So does any board member have any questions on this application?
With regard to the house and the alterations, I have no concerns. I would motion to approve this as submitted.
Okay, I'm going to hold that motion just to hear from the other two members to make sure. How about you, Carrie?
I think it's fine. I think if there's a cap on that wall on the south elevation, if there's a cap where that deck is and the roof is, I don't want to see the cap somehow. I want to think it's just roof from this side.
So it should be natural.
Yeah, I don't want to know that there's a deck on the other side of it up
Yeah.
top.
So if there's any, is this trim painted, Uri?
The trim is, I think, natural. It's natural, yeah.
Okay, well, so I think it would read,
So-
I agree with you on that. And if it were natural red cedar, then it would read like a ridge board.
Yeah, that's good.
If it were painted, it would be obviously,
It can,
you know,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It might be
yeah, so
funny
we
to
can,
see people up there.
Anything else, Carrie?
That's it.
Okay, how about you, Diane? I think you're muted. Let me unmute you.
Yep. On the north elevation,
Yes,
the front,
let's go to north.
South is the front.
is
Oh,
is
yeah,
this
so south
building,
is the front. But
south is the front, then
Yeah.
could I see the north
yeah,
there? That's the existing north elevation, which also has a front door type of thing. Is that a front door?
well, no.
Now,
that's existing. That's existing, it's used as a front door, but it's not really used. And actually, it's not even visible. It's from his
Is
property there.
is this elevation visible
Not
No,
visible,
from the,
but it's
No.
existing
Okay.
anyways. Changing it anyways.
okay, but you have on your proposed north elevation, you have that staircase circled. Is for what reason?
he doesn't
I
have
have
to
a,
have the staircase circled. It's, so Diane, what's circled there
Yeah.
is not the staircase. The staircase, it just so happens that the top of the staircase falls into the bubble. But what they're doing is they're taking away a portion of that roof that links those two big masses on either side, and they're carving it
Yep.
away so they can have a little second floor deck there. And then on the other side, on the south side, they're leaving the roof there so that you're not aware that it's a deck from the south side. That's what they're doing.
Okay, well, I wondered, is that north elevation visible from White Whale Road, any place?
I believe
Is
the
it-
answer to that is no.
Okay,
Um,
okay, because I didn't see the
I'm
site
losing
plan.
connection for some reason, but it's not visible.
Right.
It's not visible.
Okay, then I would go along with Val.
Okay, so Val has made a motion to approve as submitted. Actually, submitted with this caveat that the cap, to Carrie's point, the cap on the roof on the south side is natural to weather, but because the house is natural to weather, I don't think we necessarily need to worry about that. So on Val's motion, Carrie,
Yeah.
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Val?
Aye.
And I'm in favor of motion carries. Good. Okay, next up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Oh,
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
Stephen is here. Stephen Welch.
Oh, Stephen Welch.
No,
Yeah, just so you know.
I think we will
no,
run into a conflict, although we still had a quorum. Okay, so Stephen's here.
Yeah.
Hello, Stephen.
Hey, how are you? I actually, Mr. Chair, just to briefly interrupt if I may. I
Yeah.
signed in a while back. I wanted to see if I can ask what time you'll be meeting till today. The
Oh, we
reason
missed
I
that
asked-
part. So, Stephen, just to bring you up to speed, I would like it to become a policy of ours if we're having these Thursday meetings, as it looks like we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future, that we cap them at 2:30.
Okay,
We accomplish what we can until 2:30, and then it's a cutoff, okay?
thank you for that. Do you think we'll get to Stone Alley by then? The reason I ask is I have a Section 106 wind turbine meeting.
Which one is Stone Alley?
It's down below. I doubt it.
Pretty far down.
47.
it will not. We think it will not be heard. That's down at the very
Oh,
bottom.
hey, like the likelihood of that being heard in the next hour is 0 or perhaps less than 0.
Okay, the only reason I ask is obviously they re-upped for a full board, and if I wasn't here, that would be problematic.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, right. It would be a problem kind of no matter what, but so thanks for bringing that up. Now we are on to 3 Walwinet Road, and Carrie, I'm going to guess that you probably
I'm
need
going
to,
away.
what?
I'm going away and Luke is stepping in.
Okay, very good.
Hello.
Hello, Luke.
Yeah.
All right. You want to walk us through this? Very colorful.
Yeah. We're in the process of actually turning, now that we're going digital with this would normally, of course, be black and white if you're sitting at the table, but my CAD person, these are CAD colors for line weights.
Yeah.
But we're gonna, in the future, you'll be seeing them all in black and white, but we're just
Okay.
not used to doing it yet. But
All right.
anyway, yeah, so ignore the color. Imagine it's all black and white. Even though what's in red is closer to you. But anyway, the changes here, if you recall, this building on 3 Walwinet has extremely low visibility, if you can see it at all. It's the first right as you go down Walwinet, and then you have to look back past the cottage that was recently built, and this is kind of behind that. I don't know if you want to go to the site plan.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can explain the elevations. I've referenced the previous, I've referenced the previous approvals. So, yeah, you can look at the
Oh,
locus.
yeah. Okay.
You can see the locus to see how big the property actually is. And then
Yeah.
I've got partials here. But Chase Lane that you can see on the left-hand site plan, that's your kind of only viewpoint really from a public way.
Uh-huh.
And so the house is, anyway, it is what it is.
Hey, so by the way, I want to point out to the board members, if you look at that northeast perspective right there, that shows clearly one of the things that Luke is requesting, which is that mass to the left of the entry porch used to step down very slightly, and now it's all at the same level. So that's going to be one of the things that we're discussing, okay? So Luke, you want to continue?
Okay, so if you want to go back to the elevations.
Mm-hmm.
So on the north elevation, I've, we have a continuous ridge line now. Whereas before there was a small break. And we've had some minor, below that, we've had some minor window configuration adjustments that are clouded. And then the far left-hand one-story mass window changes. That's that.
Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at the east elevation.
On the east elevation, we have a reduction of windows on the center one-story mass. We've reconfigured what is the kitchen area now to show a triple window. Before we had triple windows far to the right. Now we've reduced those to 2.
Okay.
And then we've changed, actually, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep.
Okay. And you're looking at the side of what is now 1 gable as opposed to 2, but that's de minimis. All right, so next, what's the next elevation? Oh, there we go. Do we have the other 2 elevations? Did I miss something?
No,
Chair, the way it was in the PDF, it went from elevation to
right.
site plan to elevation.
Here we go. Okay, so the south.
So here, the owner wanted to have a second floor deck. And again, this is not visible from anywhere. That looks back towards her patio area and the length goes the length of her property. And then we've had, we've done some minor door changes on the first floor. We've introduced doors off the 2 bedrooms upstairs. That's it on the south elevation.
Okay, thank you. A little more, Holly. There we go. Perfect. Right.
On the west elevation, we've introduced the far right-hand side, a set of doors instead of windows. And that is the only.
Not much else. Yeah, not much else happening there. Okay, Luke, thanks. Board members.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll start if you want.
Great, that would be great, Diane. Thank you.
Can we go back up to the north?
There's your north.
Okay. Right, in the new north elevation proposed, you have on the left-hand side where you have the little shed and then the little gable with the chimney behind it. You had single windows in the old one. I would like to see the single windows remain. You have more mulled windows than you can take a stick at on all sides. And the number of windows on the side becomes a lot, and I would like you to think about keeping those as single windows and not mulled windows. And if we can go down again to the east elevation a little bit more.
They don't hear me, right?
We do, Val. Oh, not anymore. Okay. Okay, there we are in the east.
All right. The east elevation proposed, I think that that is good, good. I go along with that.
Okay.
So now we need to go to the south and the west. Luke, you said the south was not visible?
Yeah, you can't see this house. Maybe everyone should hold off for a site visit if it's critical, but
Well, when it drops a lot of its stuff come winter time, so it may not be visible now, but it may be visible then. I am going on your opinion that the south is not visible. Um, However, I would like you to think in the gable on the left hand side that has the chimney in it. I would like to see that as, is that a porch or just the gable?
is
It
it a what?
doesn't look like a porch.
Is it a
It
what?
it looked like a porch, but now I see the bigger one. It doesn't look like a porch. I would like to see the window in that gable stay as a single window, not
Oh.
not a mulled window in the gable on the what is basically the third floor. And if I could see the west,
Hang on a second, Diane, I'm quite confused. What chimney and gable are you talking about? That because it's
I'm talking about the south elevation.
Yeah.
What you are approving or you are requesting proposed in
Yeah.
the gable on the left hand side up on the third floor or attic, whatever you want to call it, there is a gable with mulled windows in it.
Yes.
that's existing. I mean, if you look at the
It's existing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
only the
okay.
portions that are bubbled are the bubbled in red. So that
Yeah,
part-
that's
and
well,
then if you might reference what's already been approved on the south elevation. In terms of,
well, even more to the point, Luke, if you look at the existing conditions, that little gable with its mulled windows is there already. Existing.
well, I can't get to it. I could get to the west elevation and then I can
Well, so
that.
if you look at the south elevation proposed, just to the right of that is a drawing that says south elevation. And that shows that whole gable on the third floor is existing, including the windows.
Yeah, I see that. I thought that the red was supposed to be new work. That's all.
No, sorry. The red bubbles show, the bubbling shows the new, not the color red. That's kind of
yeah,
deceptive.
it's in the foreground. That's why I apologize for these
The
colors.
red and the blue on the architecture, Diane, has nothing to do with anything, unfortunately. Nothing.
Okay. All right. So that's all I have to say then.
Mhm.
I'd like to see that one window back in the north reduced. I think that's bubbled.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Val. Ow.
Hi. I don't have any problem with this application at all. Given where it is, there's no visibility, I don't believe, of anything. So I'm okay with it as submitted.
Okay. Thank you, Val. Carrie. Oh, wrong. Sorry, not Carrie. I missed.
Very approved.
Stephen. Stephen. You still with us, Stephen? Probably muted. Where did he go?
I think Stephen is gone, Mr. Chair.
Seriously? Oh, okay, guys. We do have a quorum even without Stephen, although I would like to see him come back. So I think we should proceed without him on the assumption that he missed a lot of this conversation. So I'm okay with this. even with the mold windows, I really don't think that they're going to be visible down on the first floor. So I'm really okay with this as submitted. We have a 3-person board, so,
I make a motion to approve as submitted, Mr. Chair.
okay. So on that motion, Diane,
She's muted.
Aye.
Oh, Diane's okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Diane. Val?
Aye.
And chairs in favor, chair being me, motion carries. Great, thank you. Okay, next up, we got Robbie Newman. And we have Carrie back, so we have at least 4. We might have 5 if Stephen shows up. Hi, Rob.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so 32 Brewster, what you got going there? Move
Okay.
demo.
Yes, we have a 1950s one-story cottage. Yeah, okay. That we would like you to consider that we put a new dwelling on. It's sited, the new proposal is sited exactly within real close proximity of the existing dwelling.
Okay, so Robbie, right now what we're focused on, what we are reviewing is the move demo of this building from, it's clearly from the 50s.
Yes.
Holly, do we have, how does this work? Do we have anything on this building, or? I know it's not in an OHD or anything like that.
Oh, well, I can get that information for you real quick.
No, I was just curious if you wanted to say something on this.
I mean, after the board does.
Sorry, what, Holly? Oh, she's muted.
I'll let you all continue. I'll confirm.
Okay, thanks. Okay. What do we all have to say about the move demo of this building?
I'm okay with this, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
I am too.
Okay, thank you. Diane?
Is anybody interested in it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Has,
You know, Brewster Road is very, narrow and thickly vegetated, so
I know.
I don't know if it's physically possible to get it out of there anyway. The other option would be Cathcart, and I haven't been up Cathcart in a couple of years, so I don't know how that is. So.
No, Cathcart is worse.
Okay,
than Brewster.
there you
so-
go.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, it
I'm
is
for
1950.
Sorry, Holly, hang on one second. Diane?
Apparently.
I said that I would go along with it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Being moved or
Okay. Holly, what did you say? You were confirming the date?
It is 1950 per NHL data. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. But it sounds like we have a consensus that would allow a move demo on this. And again, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Is Stephen on yet?
No, Mr. Chair, he is not.
Okay, so then let's continue with the board that we have. So I think I'm ready for a motion on this one.
Motion to approve as a move off demo.
Okay, on that motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
thank you, Val,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, motion carries. That's that. Okay, so now, Robbie, we can look at, I guess, your new dwelling.
Okay.
Okay. South faces Brewster, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How tall is it, Robbie?
29.4, I believe.
What are the colors?
White, red cedar roof.
Okay. White everything, yes. Okay, so Holly, let's take a look at the other two elevations. We have south and west. We'll look at north and east next. North facing Cathcart.
Bottom one.
Okay. All right. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'd like to hear from the board on this one. Would anyone care again?
I will.
Okay, thanks, Val.
I don't think this is too different from a few houses before it, which I believe also have white trim. I think the only thing I might ask Rob to change are the gable windows to something a little more regular.
Okay.
And consistent. I'm noticing that like
Yeah.
a couple of round windows, and then there's like a 3 light horizontal casement sort of deal on that one elevation. Okay, Val, thank you. How about you, Diane?
I agree on the front area there. I think that the building is too tall. I don't know, there may be tall looking buildings, but I don't think there's any 30-foot buildings down on Brewster Road. 25 to 27, I do, but that's just my opinion. I would like Robbie, why are the windows on the next elevation, which I can't see what it was? Can we go down to the next one?
You mean the north elevation?
What's coming under the south? What's next to the south? Can you see more than I? There it is, the west elevation. The windows in that, which are going to be visible because Cathcart and Brewster splits there. And I know it's got good planting around it, but this is the second floor. Is there a necessity for them all to be scrunched to the right and then mold with the double windows to the left?
The ones on the right happens to go with the function of the floor plan. And this lot is at least three parcels away from that corner, from that split of Cathcart.
Yeah, I know it's saying that the view, you have a sort of a double view to contend with from both sides. It is visible from both sides.
Okay.
Okay, and the next one down.
That's the east elevation.
Yeah, that goes the other way. I have no problem with that. And I don't know whether the circular window should become a 3 or the 3 should become a circular. And I would like to see the windows on the first floor split somewhat so they are not all molded together.
Okay.
Interior or not. It's the upstairs, the second floor is nicely done. I would like to see the bottom floor, first floor like that. Okay. And that's it. But I don't know whether it's possible to drop that down even a foot to get it at 9.6, and you've got land to build on. It's going to come up to 30 feet or more, particularly with the roof walk. So, thank you though. Thank you, Rob.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Nice.
Carrie,
I'm wondering why the roof walk ends, the roof doesn't extend beyond the roof walk. So it's sitting on part of the upper roof, but it doesn't go beyond, the roof doesn't go beyond the roof walk. I think I understand why, but it just is a little
yeah,
awkward feeling to me. And I wonder if the roof can be extended to that next gable so the roof
that would
walk is
make
on
for a
top.
very long roof.
Yeah,
ridge.
it would. So I
But
understand why
yeah,
it's
there's
happening.
an interesting,
Different.
interesting point about it just sort of ending like that.
Mm-hmm. And then the
Uh-huh.
other thing on this north elevation, is there some overhanging roof? Is there
Yeah.
a recess on that second floor?
Yeah.
Yes,
The roof
yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's back, I think 12 feet, 10
Okay.
feet,
12.
12 feet.
I'm going to have a comment on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I've seen it before out here, not very often. But otherwise, it's a good looking building. It's just the roof walk seems awkward to me.
Yeah, really good point. So is that it, Carrie?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, to this covered porch thing, it is 12 feet deep. And Robbie, I have this feeling that we had the same sort of conversation on another application of yours like a year ago, where you have these substantial overhangs on that porch. Couldn't you bring those overhangs in and then as a result have the entire gable ridge of that thing drop down so that it's not the same height as the main ridge? That was item number one. Item number two is maybe we get a better understanding of this roof walk if we went to the south elevation for a moment. Oh, and while Holly's doing that, I'll say that I definitely agree with the idea of, I'd actually like to see the round windows and the 3 light horizontal windows go in favor of like a more traditional vertically formatted, like 4-pane window in those gable ends. So yeah, there it is, folks. It's like a roof walk that's just basically like ending there. Robbie, I guess
This
the
is,
idea, who is that? Who said that?
that was me. I was going to ask you a question.
Me?
So the roof, yes, can I ask you a
Yeah,
question?
yeah, of course.
The roof ends at the roof walk, but the house doesn't end for the other side of the chimney. So I see what Carrie's talking about. That's really weird.
It's kind of weird.
Continue on at least. It should continue on at least to the end of the chimney, shouldn't it?
Yeah, or
You see what I'm talking?
I might take another view of this, which is, ordinarily roof walks are centered. Now, because you've got this gable offset, maybe that's going to be weird. I don't know. But the other choice is to simply make the roof walk less wide so that it doesn't go all the way to the gable end. Because look, I don't think that lengthening the ridge is good because Diane has already made the point that this is a tall building, and to have that tall part be even wider, I would not be in favor of. So I think the things that I would like to see you work on, Robbie, are the ridge of the porch in the back, the centering of the roof walk, and the character and consistency of those gable end windows. Those are my items. Okay, so that's the board. Should we make a motion on this one?
Motion
Make
to
a
hold.
motion to hold for,
Revisions?
Nate, could I just ask one
yes.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What if that gable that's on the right hand, looking at the south elevation?
Yeah,
I guess we're all looking at the same thing.
yes.
If that gable came through and ended on the left-hand side of the roof walk. So in other words, bring that gable on the right-hand side, looks like it penetrated through and ended Oh, just to the left of where the chimney mast is shown. Any
That was gonna be my suggestion.
Okay, so
thoughts on
that's,
that?
yeah, that's sort of a nice compromise from running it all the way over to the other gable, which I think would result in a very, very long roof.
Yeah, and there's really no real reason for it.
Listen, I think that's worth looking at, definitely.
Okay.
And it might solve your problem. So I believe somebody, and that somebody being Diane, made a motion to hold this for some revisions.
Okay.
Right, Diane?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to poll the board on that motion. Val,
I,
Carrie,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
thank you, and I'm in favor, motion carries. So that's that. We have a new garage. Should we take a look at that? Okay. How tall is it, Robbie?
Oh, I have. That main mass is 24 feet, 4 inches from the grade.
Really?
That's what yep.
The ridge is 24.4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Unless I screwed something up.
Let's hope you didn't.
Mhm.
Okay, board members. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I figured it out. Val, you want to start?
sure. Again, with the exception of the gable windows, I think it's fine. And I would just suggest that everybody who has a chance drives out there, because this is in the same ballpark as the houses that are out there in terms of height and stature.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Thank you. That's a great suggestion.
Okay. Diane?
I think it's all right. It's 4 inches over, not very much. And I'm with Val on that window up there. And other than that, I'm fine.
Okay. Carrie?
I agree. I think it's totally fine. The 3 light windows in the gables are a little awkward to me, but
Hey,
Just match them to the house.
I have an idea, because we don't yet know what Robbie's going to present over at the house, and I'm kind of interested in moving this along. How would you feel, Robbie? I mean, there's not a lot of huge amount of space there anyway. Why don't you just get rid of them?
Okay.
If you got rid of them, I think we could approve this now.
That's fine.
And then, you know, if you want them later, just come back and it would be a minor revision, and we would know what we're approving over at the house. So then we wouldn't have to hold this up.
That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd prefer to do it that way. So would somebody like to make a motion on that one?
Motion to approve through staff minus the little gable windows.
Okay, that's it. That's the motion. On the motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie?
aye.
Thank you. Val?
Aye.
All right, and I'm in favor. Motion carries. Okay, Robbie, there you go. You got one, actually you got 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Bye now.
Okay, do we have somebody to represent the pool at 78 Milk? Mark? Maybe?
I don't see him, Mr. Chair.
And anybody else? Is there anybody out there who is here to represent 78 Milk? If so, unmute. Okay. Looks like maybe we'll pass that one over. Should we hold this one for rep?
Make a motion for hold for representation.
Thank you, Diane. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
Carrie.
Sorry, aye.
Okay, Diane, thank you.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm in favor. So that's being held. Next up, 250 Mattocket Road, Brooke, I know he's on.
Yep.
Okay. So, Brooke, this is a second dwelling for a dwelling that's already been approved, correct?
So 250 Mattocket Road has an existing ranch structure. If you look at the site plan, and in the back is Chris Whitty's garage. Some of you might be familiar with that structure.
Mhm.
And the second dwelling is going to be built off of that garage
In the back?
in the back, away from Mattocket Road.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris Whitty's garage stays.
Yep.
That should have a plaque designation, monument.
Yeah.
So foreign affairs.
Yeah,
So
right.
your addition is the thing in red, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's take a look at it. Okay. How tall is it, Brooke?
26.
26. Oh. Is this in Mattocket proper?
Yeah. You only go to 25.
Well, where is Mattocket proper?
That rule extends all the way down to past Long Pond Road.
It's 25 feet, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we can drop it to that.
Okay, so let's pretend for a moment that this ridge is dropped. How does everybody feel about the design in general? Anyone?
I think the design is okay. I think it's going to be very hard to see, having spent a great deal of time at both the front house and the back garage over the years.
Mhm.
You can't see hardly anything from Arkansas because of the vegetation that's growing. So I don't think it's a highly visible place. If he drops it a foot, I have no problem with it.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Carrie?
I agree with Diane. I think even if it is seen, it fits in with what's there already.
Mhm. Okay, I agree. Val?
Can we scroll back and see some more of it? Because I couldn't find it in my agenda to look at closer.
You want the existing?
Well, I guess,
The other elevations.
right. So
So we're looking at 2 elevations so far, and I think Val's looking to see the other 2 elevations. Okay, so we've seen those. There we go. That's the back and the side.
So what faces the road, Brooke?
The other one.
So south elevation faces the backyard. The east elevation faces the neighbor to obviously the east. Hank Ross, the health inspector guy, and then the north elevation is what faces 250 Mattocket Road, which was on the prior page.
Right. So north.
Correct. North is what faces Mattocket Road.
Face Mattocket Road.
Yep.
Yep, there it is.
Mr. Chair, I
Yeah.
just want to let the commission know that we did receive opposition, and I'm not too sure if they're.
Did you say opposition?
Yes,
A letter, right?
correct.
Could you, oh, here we go. Okay, so this was it, right? Holly, just this one?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to read this into the record, okay? My wife, Marie, spoke with you the other day. This is addressed to Kathy, by the way. We own 1 Arkansas Ave and are abutters to the proposed addition at 250 Matticat Road, which is scheduled to go before the HEC. Attached are 4 photos taken from Arkansas Ave showing the current view of our backyard from the road. Okay. The addition will be on the other side of the fence and visible from the road. The road, I'm presuming, is Arkansas Ave as opposed to Matticat Road. Also attached is a letter we wrote to the agency along with the locus map and elevation, proposed elevation. If I know you are, oh, never mind. Please confirm that you've received this email. So maybe we scroll down and look at the photos. Okay. Well, I guess the thing that we can glean from this is that in addition to being visible from Matticat Road, it will also, the back will be visible from Arkansas. Oh, and so here's this second letter. Maybe let's take a look at this for a moment. Okay. Butters 250, subject property, Arkansas, as part of original Tristram's Landing, over 40 identical L-shaped, built in the 70s. Most of these cottages are the original. When you walk down Arkansas, surrounding streets, Tristram's, only 1 views an occasional rooftop among the trees. Second-story buildings with dormers and decks are absent from the view. Proposed 2-story addition, 1.5 by the way, with dormers and a deck is out of historic character. It would be situated in the rear subject lot, and the entire second story with shed dormers and outside deck would be plainly visible. The proposed addition would create an adverse condition to the historical context of Tristram's Landing neighborhood. Ask you not to approve the design. So we saw the photos. So does that alter, let's see where we were.
I just, while you were reading that, looked up on the real estate site some information on this, and it's right on the property line, like a foot away, which is probably why the guy has some concerns. And I snatched some pictures and an aerial photo if you guys want to see it.
Can you screen share?
Yeah.
And is that why you were asking about seeing the backside of the building?
Well, no, I was trying to understand where it was. I just didn't really understand it.
May I speak to this?
No. Okay, go ahead, Brooke. Go ahead.
Real quick. The Chris Whitty's garage is right up against the fence.
Yeah.
This building is outside of the setback. So you'll see that it's like 12.5 feet or whatever the setback is back there forward of the rear of Chris Whitty's garage. So it's not up against the fence, if that is a concern. Obviously, we can't do that because of zoning.
Understood.
Okay, that's it.
Yes. All right.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course, Diane. Go ahead.
They are telling us that the historical atmosphere of Arkansas Avenue, Tristram's Landing, is good.
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You obviously have an idea of what the other side of Arkansas Avenue looks like, which is why the HDC was created in the first place. So this building at 250 Matticat Road used to belong to Byron Coffin. Byron Coffin. And the garage was brought in, and it was way before 1972. And then he went to Mycomet Avenue, Byron. But the buildings out there are fewer on this side of the road and far between than what they are asking. I don't find it offensive to see other buildings, other houses that fit in with the area. And this house certainly fits into the area a great deal more than the ones on the right-hand side of Arkansas. So that's all
Thank
I
you.
would say.
Do we need to hear from anyone else? Because basically at this point, we're just talking about dropping it down so it meets the zoning restriction that's in Nantucket proper.
Mr. Chairman, as the abutter, may I speak?
Yeah, I didn't realize you were on. Go ahead.
Yes, my name's Robert McLeish. My wife and I are the owner of 1 Arkansas Ave. And not to belittle the historic nature of the area, but the shed dormer and the second story are out of context with the neighborhood. And they can be plainly seen from Arkansas Ave, as the attached photos show. It will be visible above that fence line in the back.
Right. We're aware that this will be visible. Whether it's inappropriate or not is up to the board. Anything further to say, sir?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, so guys, remind me where I left off. Did everyone have an opportunity to speak? And that question was posed to the board member. So Carrie, you spoke, right?
Yes, I think this is a very unassuming 1.5 story building.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the way it fits in with the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Diane, you've said your piece on that. And Val, a moment ago, you were going to screen share some things. Do you want
I
to?
am,
Okay.
and it's because I want to understand if I'm looking at the right piece of property.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We can see you and that lovely flower off of your right-hand shoulder there.
Oh, the hibiscus.
The hibiscus, yes.
Yeah. Is it something I'm doing?
You mean that, there you go. You're on now.
So is this the building?
Yes.
Am I like cracking up, or is that like 2 feet to the property line?
No. Okay. So Brooke addressed that just a moment ago. So I think it is 2 feet. It's 2.9 feet at the short end, but maybe, okay. I don't want you to lose your screen share yet, Val, because I think you said you had some photos you wanted to share.
Yeah.
But Brooke's addition onto this building is obviously outside of the zoning setback. It's not on the line.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand which one of these buildings it was.
It's the one you just. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to show us your photos?
Sure.
Okay.
When I can figure out how to do it.
And then for everyone's peace of mind, Holly, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I want to return to Brooke's site plan that shows where the addition is located so that we all fully understand that one. There it is. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there it is means it's the one with the tree next to it.
Okay. And then how do you, you have to stop and go every time?
You mean with those photos?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I don't know how to do it myself, but I've been told that's how you have to do it.
Okay.
So,
all right. I was just trying to understand.
Okay, so Val, now with all that, we can return to Brooke's site plan that will show that existing building, Chris's shop, with Brooke's new addition appended to it. There you go. Okay, so you can see that there's like this step back and the dashed line would indicate the setback there.
Correct.
Red being the new.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I would say I think if you bring it down to 25 feet, it will conform to the Nantucket
Zoning.
zoning. I would maybe just ask that the second floor deck be reduced a little bit.
Like pull it in.
Maybe even pull it in away from the neighbor so it's less looming over them.
It's a reasonable request. What do you think, Brooke?
Well, it's pulled in 2 feet right now on each side.
Yeah.
And if I pull it in anymore, we won't be able to use it.
Oh,
Just,
really?
Well, just the way that the floor plan is drawn. I mean, I'd probably have to revisit the entire program.
I'm not following the rationale there.
Me either.
So,
I mean, I could pull it in another foot on each side.
let's make sure that we're speaking the same language here. So I believe Val is referencing the west elevation.
Yeah,
But-
and I'm simply saying, don't bring it in both ways. Bring it away from the fence line toward the street some. Flip your door and window.
All right. Well, it's already the setback plus the 2 feet away from the fence.
All right,
Oh,
well,
Val,
that's just my request to be a good
Yeah, yeah.
neighbor.
So,
But
Val, what I thought that you were asking for was to basically take the outermost posts of the deck and line them up with the dormers, which wouldn't require any reworking of the program on the inside. It's just moving it further away from the property line. That's what I thought you were asking for. Do you see what I mean?
yeah,
How How wide is the
move
deck?
on. You guys can vote it through.
All right. When you say wide, what do you mean, Diane?
On the north elevation?
You mean how far does it project off of the building?
Yes,
Okay, Brooke?
10 feet.
Dot.
I would take it back to 8, which would make it 2 feet shorter.
Sure
2 feet
thing.
less wide. 8 feet is good up there, and that would make it less projecting over these people at 1 Arkansas. I think.
Diane, John McLaughlin would be so proud of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so in his honor, I think, Brooke, did you just assent to that?
Yeah, well, I can drop it a foot and bring the deck into 8 feet.
Okay, I think that sounds good.
Oh, can we make a motion
Oh, you sure can, Diane. Go ahead.
to approve through staff the application with the porch, second floor porch being brought into 8 feet and the building dropped a foot.
Okay, I'm going to poll the board on your motion. Thank you for the motion, Diane. Val?
I'm going to vote no.
Okay. Carrie?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
And I'm in favor, so the motion carries 3-1. 3 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is 132 Main Street. And I think that I saw somebody come on. Tim, are you
Yep.
on?
Can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to kick things off. We had a letter from the owner, Barbara von der Groben. It's a short letter, so I'm going to read it. Dear Chair and members of the HDC, I request your approval for solar to be installed on my roof at 132 Main Street. Believing in climate change, I want to do anything I can to support the environment and our planet. I watched as solar was installed on Mark and Liz Norris's house at 130 Main Street and realized that my home is a good candidate for solar. lowering my national grid costs, while most likely supplying surplus energy to the island would be mutually advantageous and environmentally responsible. My home is set back from the street. The slope of the roof from the renovation in 2007 of the upper floor of my home is such that I cannot see the top rooftop from any angle or distance. Thank you for your time and consideration. So
Okay.
that's the letter from
I'm going to guess that these actually face Main Street. Am I correct?
the north of, yes, her north elevation faces Main Street. We're proposing to put 22 panels divided between the east and west dormers, east and west
Oh, on
elevation.
the dormers.
Yes.
Okay. Mhm.
So I think there's three significant contributing factors to why we feel that this would be appropriate. If you look at the grading between Main Street and the property, there's a fairly significant increase in height of the house. So that just pushes the whole array further up. The property is set back 40 feet from Main Street. And because those dormers are relatively flat, you're not, it's going to be almost, as you can see from that north elevation, which is from straight on, dead on from Main Street, you won't see the arrays. You'll see a slight profile.
Okay, so Tim, I think to cut to the chase on this one, we should really see the photographs. I'm very familiar with this house, and I think everybody is very familiar with this house. But what I can't recall is driving up or down Main Street. Yeah, there we go. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
you have HSAB comments.
Okay.
There were concern.
Hang on. Let me make sure that Tim's finished with his presentation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so HSAB.
HSAB was concerned on the visibility driving from Caton Circle down Main Street. And there was a suggestion by HSAB to provide a mock-up, if you will, of maybe a black piece of plywood on the dormers, on specifically on the west dormer, to show whether or not it's visible or not. And I believe the application did say that the roof was going to be black shingles. This is a 1920s bungalow Walter Caddy house. If it was not visible, then HSAB would be in favor, because they are in favor of this type.
Okay, that's good. Interestingly, so they didn't really have any issue with the dormers on facing east. Sounds like they're west.
Yes, it was more or less the visibility from Caton Circle driving down on the west.
Which is the west. Hey, so here's some, I think we've all had enough of this experience with solar panels to know that they're unfortunately not the thickness of a piece of plywood. It's more like 4 inches, as far as I can tell, that they project above the shingles. So I have a few questions, because I agree that putting up a mock-up would be great, but the piece of plywood should be blocked up in the same way that the solar panels are blocked up, because that's going to rise up above the shingle surface. That's number one. And number two is, Tim, could you either confirm or deny that what appears to be a gray roof is being changed to black?
We have no plans to change the color of the roof at this point.
Oh, well then where did I thought I heard a black roof something in there.
So,
Yeah, I do.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
the application indicates that it's black.
Yeah.
Ha!
So
Busted.
that is my understanding also.
Okay. So, board members,
I'll,
Val, why don't we start with
I
you?
would like to do the mock-up thing too. I'm
Definitely.
struggling with this being in
Mhm.
historic town proper, especially if the roof's not black.
Yeah, okay,
I
agreed.
agree. I also wonder, I mean, on the east elevation, the solar panels are centered between the chimney and the end of the dormer roof. And I wonder if pushing them back towards the chimney would help away from Main Street with the visibility.
I think it would.
As well on the west, on those individual dormers. Can at least the one on the Main Street side be shifted over? So it's not necessarily centered in the dormer, but maybe centered over the two windows on the right side, because I think that's the direct, yeah.
at the big door.
Yeah, pulling it further away from the roof edge, whether it's the bottom edge or the side edge, I think it will reduce the visibility. So yeah, I'm with Carrie on that. Carrie, is that it?
Yeah, but I would like to see the mock-up too. If you put plywood on a 2x4, would that work? Would that give you that height?
That would be roughly the same height as the panels, yes. So
Mr. Chair, I have a question too for Tim.
go ahead.
Is it possible to take these panels and to Carrie's point, I'll use the east as an example, move them to the other side of the chimney, what will fit there, and then some on the roof plane that's adjacent to it, because that way they're hidden more at the back of the building and behind that dormer, and the same with the ones on the west.
Good point. Very good point.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the answer is yes. We can shunt all three of the arrays to the south, which would take them away from the front of the property.
Okay, good. Thanks, Jim. And if we still need to hear from Diane, and then after that, I want to have a motion, which I think I know what the motion is going to be. But Diane, you go. Go ahead, Diane. I'm sorry.
I agree with moving the panels as far away from Main Street as possible. And if the roof is not black, I have a problem with it. And with put up mock-ups, I want to make sure that they're at the right height, because the solar panels are still reflective, and we want to make sure that it doesn't annoy houses that are taller than this one in the same area from light shining in their room.
Okay. So it sounds like we'd like maybe for Tim to do some due diligence in terms of moving these things back on the roof planes, and then also having a mock-up that we can view. Would that be somebody's motion?
That would be my motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Val. So on Val's motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Val.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. Now, folks, everybody who's listening in, it's basically 2:30 our cutoff point. I'm going to do one more, just so that everyone has notice. And I know, Mark, you're there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So after we review this, we're going to call it quits. And then everything else, beginning with Val's project at 2022 Cannonberry, will be moved to the beginning of next Tuesday. No, sorry, next Monday night.
Oh, it's Monday.
Monday, yes. So next Monday night's agenda. Okay. So, Mark, go.
Thank you. This is a project located out at 7 Pilgrim Road. You approved all these structures previously back in January. Since then, the property owner has moved forward with planning, with site engineering, Dan Malloy. Dan came back to us a few weeks ago saying that they've hit water. They have a high water table here, and there is triggered a request for additional fill on the site. And he gave us a benchmark in which we need to get to, which is elevation 19. We were originally thought we were going to be taking the average across the property, somewhere between 15 and 16. And we got approval for 12 inches of fill, plus or minus an inch. So This would pick all the buildings up a couple of feet, but what we've done now is drop them down into a mud sill to take the height back out and drop the pitch from a 10 to a 9 on the main mast to make sure we're complying with any ridge height limitations by zoning. This is kind of a weird lot in general. This, if you're familiar with the context, this will still, with the proposed fill, sit down 2 to 3 feet from the neighboring properties. The neighboring properties were all kind of leveled up with timber retaining walls, which will still remain very exposed. Those top of walls have all been noted on the site engineering plan, which we provided, which I think follows the cover sheet here. And they have called out the grade elevations as proposed, as well as the required first floor elevations and so on. So we're before you. It's a net, so the ridge won't actually, in the end, with the adjustments to the building, won't be any higher than originally approved in January. But we are before you because there is going to be some fill required on the site. It'll still sit in a hole relative to the neighbors to the south and to the east. It does trigger the need for, because they're rolling off more sharply now to the north on the lot. Dan has called out a retaining wall at that rear wall or rear or north elevation, north point on the lot, which would be at elevation 16. That's maybe a little confusing in a lot of numbers, but.
Well, I want to ask some want to make sure of a few things here. Okay, so it sounds like maybe between the mud block, adding the mud block and reducing the roof pitch, that net, it, with respect to a datum, not getting any taller. Is that?
That's correct. So if I were like to add the elevation to the building height, I think your ridge would be approved originally at 46.5, but with the fill and the reduction, then pushing the building back down, we end up at the same elevation ridge line again. So we're really before you with
You're still at 46.5, just in a different way.
That's right, right. And so it's really, we're before you for the request of the fill, but also that slight architectural alteration to the house to drop it into a mud sill and drop that pitch from a 10 to a 9.
A no-brainer.
Yeah.
And the roof pitch, can we just look at the elevations? You went from a 10 to a 9, right?
That's correct.
Although
it's
wow. Okay, so did you just do that on one? Because I still see some labeled as 10s.
That's correct. We did it on the highest mast, the tallest mast, so that with that could comply.
Does everybody see that on this? I don't know what. Oh, that's the north elevation.
Correct.
The 10 and 12 roof pitch, you can see in the foreground, that has the three 6/6 windows, and then behind it, the main ridge is ever so slightly more shallow pitched at 9 and 12, and that's the way that Mark's able to keep the height of the building down. And so, Mark, could you also just say again, and maybe we should look at the site plan, about the retainage?
Yeah. So we thought when we were at a lower grade elevation, we thought we would roll the grade off at the north point of the lot.
Well, so is the north the roadside?
No, the north is what abuts the Conservation Commission or wetlands to the north of the property, top of the page.
Oh.
Yeah, here you can see it you can see there's a wall called out right at the very top of the page on Dan Malloy's plan. That wall height, Doug, what's the height of that retaining wall in the back of 7 foot, 9 foot, 4 foot? Yeah, so it requires a 48-inch retaining wall at the rear. Yep.
Okay. Well, so what was it before?
What was the retaining wall?
Was it 2 feet?
We were actually hoping no retaining wall. We were rolling it down.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's too steep.
So the question is,
sorry.
Carrie, go. Yeah.
Is that retaining wall in the setback?
Yeah.
Retaining wall is in the setback. Well, it's at the property line, excuse me.
Well, yeah, so that's certainly, so there's a rule that you can't have any more than 4 feet within the setback. That's a zoning thing.
Right. So we would be right at it.
Okay. Carrie, do you want to keep going on that one?
Well, that was my only question, but are you rolling down to the retaining wall and then the 4-foot retaining wall?
That's correct, Carrie. Yes.
Okay.
So the thing, I got to be honest, the thing that sort of frightens me about that is I'm looking at this at really minute scale. It looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 contour lines that go from the house to the top of the retaining wall. Or you know, it's hard
It's
for me
kind
to
of
tell.
confusing.
I think it's graphically a little challenging to read, but he does have 19 clearly called out there, and he has 16 called out at the top of the wall. So it's a
Okay, well, so here, this is to my point. Bottom of wall is 12 feet.
That's correct.
Okay, top of or the grade at your house is 19 feet. That's
Yes.
a delta of 7 feet. So if this is visible, and I can't speak to whether or not it is, this would be, you know, sort of popping out of the ground back on that northern side.
There may be some value to go back to the locust plan and the aerial. This was all of the entire complex was approved in one night due to lack of visibility because it is so tucked back off of Pilgrim, and we
Our
didn't
board
believe.
has made mistakes before.
Oh, I understand, and I'm not saying it's invisible, but the aerial might be
Okay.
useful here if we want to pan back, so you have a sense of context. Can we roll back, Holly?
To the locust.
Yes. To the aerial view.
Aerial is just off to the left there. If we can move the screen to the right, and there you go, perfect. Right.
So that's all wetlands back in there.
What's to the north of all that?
That's what's actually would have worked better for you, Mark, if the houses that are actually built there were there, because they have big retaining walls holding them up toward the street. I only know that because so the back of those lots have like a 7-foot retaining wall made out of wood.
Really?
Yeah, so he is in a bowl, but my concern is more the person to the left, not necessarily the back where the conservation is.
Mm-hmm.
How that will play out on his lot, because now he has a big looming retaining wall on the first lot on, I guess it's the west. And is this going to be like one big continuous line?
There, to that, if I may address that, Dan Malloy has not proposed a retaining wall on the west side. He's under the impression or believes that we can roll the grade naturally to the neighbor at that point. At least that's how he's illustrated. So the only retaining wall illustrated is along the north line, not along the west.
That's confusing to me though, because it is up a little higher, and won't that just like pour water onto his site?
I don't know what elevation he is at. I don't see that they've called it out here.
Mark.
Yeah.
So I see 3 lots, your lot, and then the 2 that are in front. Oh, there they are. The 2 that are in front. Are those 2 lots built now?
Yes.
Yes.
They're built. Okay. Because what would be super helpful here, and maybe this will be to Val's point about what's visible on the west side. So maybe on the west side, if somebody could put up a string that essentially ran along the western side that showed that elevation 19, I guess, or 19.5, whatever it is that you're trying to get for your grade, then we can tell what it looks like with respect to the house to the west and as seen diagonally across there. Know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And actually, as I reviewed this, I think we can do that, Ray. And I think there's an opportunity actually to diminish the grades more on the west side and actually use maybe a little bit of the guest house as a retaining. So maybe a little bit more of that foundation is exposed, but it allows us to more gently roll that grade down. Okay. He's pulled 19 behind the building. I don't know if that needs to happen. So we can, why don't we, I assume we'll prep for a viewing, I think is what you're suggesting.
I think that's what we should do here.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Diane.
On the different retaining walls, is that going to change you said that you ran into water pretty high up in the ground. Is that going to change the properties around? Are we going to use them to get rid of the water, or are you counting on those retaining walls to hold all the water in there?
If I understood your question, Diane, the retaining wall is really just to allow the grade to run away more gently on the north side of the property. That's the only place we have one. Otherwise, this property sits down in a hole, and the Malloy plan has submitted actually these black circles illustrate on-site drainage system to capture the water on the property and not allow it to roll off.
Right, I didn't see, hard to read what they are. They're sort of just
Understood.
in the
Yep.
paper. So
First.
you've already taken that into consideration. Okay, well, that's what I think is very important for that house and for the rest of the people in that particular area of Pilgrim Road, which is funny. But thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Diane. So I think that would actually be super helpful if we viewed this with a string line showing where the grade would be at the house. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the grade that's right on the western side, but because the visibility is on the western side over that person's property, show a line with orange string that runs north-south at the height of what the finished grade is proposed to be. That's one. And then two would be going east-west at the back property line of those two properties that are in front of your house. And that would give us a sense of where the grade is going to be going, and it would be easy for us to see.
Certainly understand the western point. Ray, sorry, where would you like to see the one that's going to run east-west?
We'll see the rear property line of the two properties that are in front of you, i.e. to the south of you.
Okay, yes.
If you just ran a line straight across from that back property line and set a string up there, then we would know absolutely where.
I can do that, Ray. If you were to zoom in, if even possible, on this site plan, you will see at the top of those walls have all been established by Dan Malloy at 22 feet. They're going to sit 3 feet higher than our grade as proposed. So if I run a string, it'll be on the back side of that wall. You won't see it, but we can put it there.
So your grade is lower than the retaining that's already there.
That's correct, Val. Yeah, we're down.
I do think a view will really help everybody see this. You could
I
walk
agree.
down the driveway and see what the walls already are.
Yeah, yep. Okay, fair enough.
We'll set that up and then call that in for viewing.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So can I just make this official? Can I have a motion to hold this for viewing with strings put up?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Val. On that motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Thanks. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
And the chair is in favor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So now, Kathy, do we need to make a motion to hold the rest of this to Monday evening, or is that already done because it's already been posted?
It's already been done. It's been posted.
So we don't need to move that one. Okay, so then I guess that's it. Kathy, is there anything else that is time sensitive that we need to look at right now?
No.
Okay, then I think that we can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Val. Thanks, everybody. I know it's midday on the work week, so I appreciate all your time. So on Val's motion, Diane?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Monday the 5th, is that right?
Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, Monday the 5th.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.